Alright, hello again. This is Jeff Scott talking Bootstrap, and I am now on lecture, or lesson number 9, I guess, of 11. And this one is going to be quite short. It's, as you can see, called Twitter Bootstrap Modal Example. And remember that if something is modal, that means basically, for instance, if I come here into a file, print, okay, and probably not going to work well on here. I don't think that no, it's not going to work. I want to show you. Here, right there's an example of a modal box. It says, do you want to save this? Now I can cancel and get out of there, but technically I can't do anything else in here until I make a decision. So that's modal. And you can use modal for a lot of different things. Notice under the structure here it says modals have a three-part structure: a header, a body, and a footer section, though you can't really trigger a modal without a handle, which can be a button or a link. Alright? In the header, as mentioned right there, usually you place the title of the modal, maybe even a close button. A lot of times there'll be an X in the upper right hand corner. In the body, it's what you want to show. And in the footer, you usually place the button to take the user, whatever it is that you want them to do, as they mention here, take you to another page, or save, or do whatever. So, first of all, as it says, creating an HTML file, yeah, we've already done all this stuff. So we've done this. So now, we've gone through page 1 of the handout. On page 2 of the handout, I guess on the bottom of page 1, it says, now we can go on creating our modal. First we create the trigger button, which can be placed anywhere in the document's body. The code will look like the following. So let's grab that code that you see right here. It's a mere 5 lines. Copy it. Go to my modal example. Well, I guess I got tooltips. Maybe I'm off here. I guess modals is the next one, but that's fine since I've got it up and open. Let's do that one now. So the author says we can put it anywhere in the body. Let's put it right here at the beginning of the body. And if you can't tell, I am taping this from my basement, and as I mentioned the other day, don't have the best acoustics in here, but we sometimes have to do with what we can. So there it is. Alright, previously there was nothing basically on here, but if I run this now and I launch it, there is the launch modal. Okay? Now again, I can add CSS or whatever. Let's move this around on the screen, etc. You may have guessed by now that the class attribute, as I'm turning up to the next page here, oh, too fast. Alright, I guess it kind of broke in a funny place here, but that's okay. That's not actually where I want that, but there you go. You may have guessed by now that the class attribute just makes the trigger button look big and blue. As it says, you will see there that the button also has 2 other data attributes, data toggle and data target. Data toggle is the one to tell the button what to toggle. Come on. So where is my modal? There's data toggle. It tells the button what to toggle when the button is clicked. In our case, we're telling it to toggle the modal. And data trigger, which tells which one to trigger because there can be multiple modals. Where is my modal? On the top of page 2. Time to tell the browser that I'm building a modal right in the place where I'll put the following script. So again, I will grab these 6 lines here. We'll add them, try to run it again, then we'll come back and take a look at what these lines, at least what we think they're attempting to do. Alright, so what do we have here? Div class equal modal fade, i.e. ID equal my modal, tab index is 1, role equals dialog, so all this stuff we know is being put in there for people with limitations. Same with this. But let's take a look. Okay, doesn't look like it did very much. The class modal fade makes the modal fade in and out of view, as you can see. The ID that we used here has the attribute my modal. Should be the same as the ID we placed in the button. So in other words, this button is making the screen go dark, light, and show the thing that's in the middle there. You may even add a description to your modal by adding the ARIA described by attribute. Furthermore, I'd like to address the issue of modals disappearing when the backup is clicked. You can make this default property go away by adding data backdrop equals static as an attribute. Alright, there's more accessibility things in here. Okay, so let's structure this. Right after the div class equal modal content tag, we place the whole code for the content, which is divided into the 3 parts. So, in your header area, what they're showing here, and I'm going to bring that up. Alright, and they show you the code that you see here on the bottom of page 2. The H3 tag contains the title, and the button represents the small typical X that closes the modal when it's clicked. The span inside of the button contains the modal, contains the icon I should say, and the hidden description for its function when you hover the cursor over it. Alright, so we're going to create this in steps. So I believe we can take everything that we've done thus far and comment it out. This will be the header part. Remember, these contain 3 different areas, for lack of better words. So there's the beginning of that one. There's the end. Alright, so let's paste this in. So here's going to be our header area. Now Now it may not be fully operational, but let's try running it again every time we add an area here. So we're about to put the body in here, but let's grab this. So that's what we have in there right now. Not very much. That's okay. All right. Then let's come in here with the body. Okay, so that's going to go right there in just a moment. So I'm moving up to page 3. Whoops. No, I jumped too far ahead. Here is the body, these 4 lines. These 5 lines will be the footer. All right. So there's the body, and let's add the footer now. Again, for the body, as it says, the only thing you need to do is to create a div element with a class of modal body. All right. So let's add this. So we now have all 3 components. Now, be leery of the fact that the author says here we do all this and it doesn't work. Let's save it first and let's try it. Okay, there it is. Close, save changes, close. It's not closing. All right. So the author says it doesn't work. It says if you wrote the code being real careful or even copy and pasted it, your modal still won't show. Then you're as unlucky. Oops. Then you're as unlucky as me. This can be for 2 reasons. The first is that the Bootstrap min.js doesn't work properly without jQuery, which can be solved by adding this before that. I should have that in there already. I don't have the jQuery UI. I don't think that would matter, but I can put that in after my jQuery. That'll be down at the bottom then. Okay. If that still doesn't work, then the problem is with your version of Bootstrap. Some versions hide class the property display none. So if that's the case, it says you can fix it, use the custom class hide block with this code. So let's grab this just in case we do need it. Alright, but ideally it's going to run and it's going to look like this. So let's see. Let's see if it does now or if we have to add that other code. Let's save. Still doesn't close. So let's see if we can make it close by adding that. Since that is even some additional CSS, let's put it up here. So we'll need a style tag. Now if this still doesn't display, I'm not sure exactly what to do next, because they've mentioned what to do if you get this problem or that problem. But if I've used all of their suggested solutions and it still doesn't work, then I'm kind of in a quandary over what to actually do next. Still doesn't work. Fantastic. It does look the way that it's supposed to look. Alright. But it's not working the way that it should. So, customizing the modal. Now, I'm not going to go through this example, but I do want to walk through what the author says here. My modal is looking the way that it does on page 4. Now, what they do in these last 3 write-ups is they talk about some ways that you can customize by doing things like changing size, using animation, etc. Alright? And that's all fine and dandy. And I'll let you take a read on that, but I'm not going to go any further with it. I guess what I will do is on page 5 of this 6-page document here, there is one more example, and it's using something this from YouTube. It's like a dog in a dump truck. And it's 20 lines right there, so I'm going to try that. So the author says I'll be adding this attribute to the launch button. Okay, and then we place this code in the modal's body. So I guess I put that in the body. Which right now I believe doesn't have very much in it. It's got this. Let's change it. So it looks like this. Alright, we're adding an iframe, as you can see. And then we script the function to get ready to do the autoplay. Call the function like this. So we have to put in the script stuff, which looks like it's about 20 lines. That actually, I don't think at least should matter where we put that. But we'll put it right underneath our footer here. Right there, right before our actual Java, the other stuff that's called. So, alright, let's take a look at that. Pretty this up just a tad to make it a little easier to read. Okay, this all looks like it's together here. My best to try to space this out so you can at least hopefully see what's going on here. Now, I don't really have a flaming clue if this is going to do a doggone thing. So Again, it says in your document.ready, so it should say when it's loading, call the autoplay YouTube modal, which is all the code that's up above. I'm going to find out right now whether or not that works. So in an ideal world, what's going to happen here is when we click this button now, when we click that button, not a flaming thing happened. Well, let's see. It did make our iframe because you can see the iframe in there, but it should be playing YouTube and it's not. Now that could be for a variety of reasons. That could be because that's an old video and it's not active anymore, but typically if that's the case, it's going to give you some kind of an error message to let you know that it's not there. Okay. Function to get an autoplay YouTube video from data tag. Well, that's definitely not working, but this is autoplay YouTube modal, so ideally when the thing starts up, and that's where we're calling it in our document.ready. So ideally that should be playing. You can see that the iframe is there. It's 350 pixels high and it takes up 100% of the screen. Alright, we've got source equal and there's nothing there. Well, the source is definitely, or looks like it's wrong to me. So I don't know if that's what it is or not. Let's go out to YouTube. And this thing is supposed to be Cute Bulldogs compilation. Cute Bulldogs compilation. There it is. That's probably, it could be any of these, but that doesn't really matter. So I'm going to grab that one. So I'm going to put that into my source attribute in here. So move that over a bit. So now we've got, whoops, now we've got source equals. Try to put it in there. Again, this may not do anything either, but at least I'm trying. It's supposed to be autoplay, all right, and as you can see, it's not. So I didn't teach you anything about modals other than you can create them. Okay, so sorry about that. I guess this isn't a great start for the last 3 lectures. So this is number 10, and I will save that, even though it's not working. And I'm going to back up to number 9 and do the tooltips. Okay, so I'll be back with that very shortly.